Generally speaking, during the 8 and 16-bit era, if you got a game based on a movie, there was a pretty good chance that the game was going to be terrible. Way too often, a company would get the rights to a popular property, throw together a poorly constructed game that had little or nothing to do with the movie in question, and set it loose on the consumers to make a quick buck. Then came Rambo 3. Right from the moment you booted it up and saw the glorious intro screen, you knew you were in for a much different experience. This game knew what Rambo was all about. An all-powerful main character wielding a massive machine gun and exploding arrows who mows down entire platoons worth of enemies and blows up heavy Russian military machinery. And boy did they take this property and run with it. The storyline of the game follows closely with the movie, opening with your only friend in the world, Colonel Trautman, being kidnapped by the Russians. Red Foreman then shows up, explaining what happened, setting you off on a murderous rampage that will leave an entire generation of Russian children orphans. But this game isn't about story, it's about death and destruction, so it gets to it pretty quickly. There are 6 levels that are split between 2 different varieties, a standard run from point A to point B, killing everything in your path level, and a sprawling maze level that requires you to do a specific thing before moving on. At the end of the 1st, 3rd, and 5th levels, however, you get to reenact one of the best scenes from the movie. Rambo versus the helicopter using only an exploding tipped arrow. Regardless of the level type, the gameplay is the same. The action is viewed from the top-down perspective, which gives you a great view of the battlefield. In addition to your unlimited ammunition machine gun, Rambo dives into battle with his trusty combat knife, exploding arrows, and time bombs, all of which play a vital role in helping you survive the assault. The machine gun has 2 different fire modes, depending upon if Rambo is moving or not. If he's running, the bullets come out in a straight line, but as soon as he stops, Rambo begins spraying wildly, sending bullets all over the place. The arrows are extremely useful in blowing up vehicles, everything from jeeps to tanks, and the time bombs can take down a gunner tower in a matter of seconds. Your final weapon, the combat knife, might seem worthless at first glance since you have to get up close and personal with the enemy for it to be effective. That said, it's arguably the most important tool at your disposal since knifing an enemy is a guaranteed way to boost your stockpile of arrows and bombs. The odd-numbered levels are the get from point A to point B objectives and are quite short provided you keep moving. To give you an idea of just how short they are, the first level gives you a bonus for clearing it in under 60 seconds. Even with the shortness, they are still filled with tense gameplay as enemies come at you from every direction, giving you plenty to shoot at and dodge as you make your way across the battlefield. Once you reach the exit, however, is when the real fun begins. The action shifts from a top-down perspective to a third-person one, with Rambo standing tall against a mechanized enemy, either a helicopter or a tank. Your foe will shoot at you with giant missiles, forcing you to move left or right in order to get a clean shot. At the bottom of the screen you have a power bar, which needs to be filled all the way in order to cause a massive explosion. That can be tricky as you dart back and forth between missiles, but it's incredibly satisfying when you land a kill shot. The even-numbered levels allow Rambo the freedom to decide where he wants to go, always with a task to accomplish. The first one requires you to find a secret agent who has information on Trautman's whereabouts, while the second one has you blowing up a cache of weapons in order to distract the enemy. The final one is the raid on the jail holding your friend, and is another sprawling level filled with soldiers in need of killing. On a side note, as you were destroying the various weapon caches, you'll come across ammo crates with a giant Sega logo on them. Now, I know that Sega had their hands in a lot of things back in the day, with consoles and first-party games, but it is shocking to learn that they were supplying weapons to the Soviets during their invasion of Afghanistan. Learn something new every day. History lesson aside, there is a lot of enjoyment to be found in this game. The controls are spot on, the enemies are plentiful, and the gameplay is fast and furious. Throw in third-person combat sections and you have the makings of one of the finest movie-based games of the 16-bit era. If you like running and gunning games, this one needs to be on your list.